Once past the tunnels, they hit the back walls, which is of course the most important reveal of the entire game. However, the second half of Shu's storyline, well, okay, I'll admit it. It's not very interesting. In fact, I'm going to be doing this one solo today. That's right, no second guy, because we tried to record it, but it was just not happening. So instead of bringing him back for an entire additional hour-long recording, just because I was being very persnickety about the commentary, instead, with his blessing, I'm going to be doing a take two. And unfortunately, I do think that this might be something of a problem for the rest of the game, because we kind of just know everything about what's happening now. I did the entire plot synopsis in the previous episode, outlined each one of the factions, what they were trying to do, how they eventually accomplished or didn't accomplish it. Forgot about like Tsukasa and Hijiyama. They were the ones dealing with the whole decode thing, but after Nenji's storyline, where he refused to tell them about Natsuno, that's kind of a moot point. Their entire attempt at doing anything is entirely fruitless, and Ida has died at the hands of Shinonome, and then died again in robot form at the hands of Sekigahara. In Sekigahara's storyline, we know that Morimura died, although her entire Operation Aegis is the eventual plan they ended up going with. We know pretty much everything about Prisoner 426, his attempt to gamify the system and everything, which is not really mutually exclusive with any one of the other things, so he was mostly successful. And now we do have a few other questions. For example, hey, what's going on with Inaba? Or how did Tamao's robot corpse get in the middle of the street in the first place? But ultimately, it's a lot of... For example, this story, this part of Shu's story that we're going to be seeing right here is just going to be seeing part of Juro's story from Shu's perspective. Also, him getting high C and taking a look at what Okino is doing, staring at vending machines. As you do, I guess torturing all of your fellow Sentinel pilots is hard work, so sometimes you just... I guess you don't actually want to go get a drink, you just want to stare at the vending machine for a very long time, which he does, the same way that Shu stares at this bench. A lot of staring at stuff, you know? But anyway, yeah, this is the exact same scene that we saw before, minus the ability to tell him about, like, hey, I got stuff... Oh, and Okino's gone. So I guess it's us staring at vending machines and trying to make a very stealthy break for it here. But yeah, this is the exact same scene minus the ability to like have a choice here and there, and of course one important character missing. But we've already seen that entire thing in Juro's storyline at this point in time. Not really. And of course, Shu's not going to be telling him about any of this very important sort of information. Whatever.
Let's go to my place. Thanks.
Look, point is that we're going to be going over there playing some video games, or at least not actually playing video games, but watching nobody play video games, which is evidently what happened as we just kind of replay some of the same scenes we've seen before. It's a real best of type of thing here. The clip show... Yep, that is exactly what happened. But yes, it's sort of a clip show. The best of 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, coming to you here, as hosted by Dr. Inferno Firebird. As always. But I mean, yeah, that first take, let me tell you, it was a lot of just, hey, look at that thing in the background. What a blurry looking clock. And I do like the way that the ADCR TV is represented in this scene, stuff like that, because I do believe that, yeah, the dialogue is the exact same and everything. I guess it is sort of a result of what happens when you have 13 different characters and they do interact with each other, that, you know, eventually you might have some of those scenes overlap like that. But still, I don't know. I feel like maybe what they should have done was do a little bit more of Ogata's storyline, where he had that self-contained thing at the brain station, or even Juro's thing, where he had a very personal storyline finding out about Shiba, which is pretty interesting, as opposed to just kind of going over the implanted memories that they all share for now. Yeah. What a B movie. What if they did in fact set out to try and make this sort of a B movie plot? Even though they made like 7 to 8 different B movie plots by the end of this year. Miyuki. Certainly an interesting character. Exiled by Ida into orbit, I guess. Sort of.
What's up?
Sort of.
Just learning something about you.
But ultimately, we do know she's going to be Kisaragi. Kisaragi in another form, kind of going with the whole everybody is all characters that we already know. And that she sort of is just the secondary character. We talked about the mascot character, like the cat, like the robot. And now Miyuki here, who just sort of provides a supporting role to the stuff that the main characters are actually doing. I guess you do reuse some of the same plots when you have this many characters that you're trying to cover at once like this. He is probably somebody that would believe you. As it turns out, there's probably 15 people, 14 people if you don't count yourself, that would definitely believe you on this point. Although maybe Shinonome and Goto would not be the best ones to tell. Not that Goto's really all that much a part of the major story here. He's kind of doing his own thing right now, and I think he's actually supposed to be on Morimura's side.
Did you want to just grab dinner and
or maybe I'm just thinking that because he was the one that was investigating her murder.
Do you think I could stay
Well, look forward to the second half of that storyline. I'm going to be doing that at the end of all of the second halves again, because, well, he does require every one of the other characters to be completely finished before you get his entire thing unlocked. So it's a good enough one to wrap things up, aside from the actual last episode where we're going to finally be seeing some of the gameplay and everything. It is... that is the only other point in time that's going to be appearing in the series, ultimately. And I think at this point in time, we did actually see a little bit of what Miyuki was eventually going to do in the story. Sort of providing support from the heavens, as it were. The notable thing was, there are technically 4 areas, 3 areas and a final area that you unlock in time, and the first one is just sort of, kind of nothing, whatever. The second one ultimately ends with Miyuki doing a very Macross-style concert over the battle, which is sort of fun, but not fun enough, I think, to include in the video. And then, of course, the third one is going to be, that's the big one where everything happens, because that leads right into the 4th and final area.
Do you recognize me?
But yes, Yes, the B movie plot that we're coming in here right now. That's right, that is how linear time works, as it turns out. And yes, we did see this before when the Kisaragi robot got taken over, but getting a little bit more context on what's happening here. In fact, that is like literally, hey, here's what point in timeline that we're taking place, although, which loop is it? I think it's loop 3, right? Because, he jumps into the Kisaragi robot and then runs on out of there. Or something.
You are now an android.
Yep.
Your consciousness is
Not an uncommon thing, apparently, around here with the wacky way that everything seems to work. Yeah, not everybody gets thrown directly on the Sumire Bridge or something, which is kind of how we've seen the usual way that people get brought back from Sector 0. I guess you can also just kind of access that and grab out people's consciousness whenever you want in that way.
Unorthodox function for the interlocutor.
Yes, yes, the DD426 sort of deal. Oh, and also, I guess, downloading memories and everything like that, too.
So I'll need more
Boy,
details.
oh boy. Did that get a lot of use in the
Records say the
storyline.
memory transplant was a success, but all the raw data from the experiment was deleted.
Was it? It's kind of hard to say. I don't really know if anybody actually got successfully memory transplanted. Like I said, it seems like when you go through a loop, you just kind of appear on that bridge, and you continue on like no... In basically, I guess, a rebuilt body of the one that you died as, that when you uploaded your stuff. Ah, whatever. Hey, look, there's an inflict pain button. Which, of course, is pretty great. Press X to inflict pain and all that. Man, if I did not actually commit to using each one of the character start of story cards for each of the thumbnails here, a close-up of Ida looking very angry while inflict pain is written over his chest would have also been a great thumbnail.
You killed Kisaragi.
No, he's just planning to get a haircut and a suit.
Make you pay. And
Doesn't care too much about that.
as a human.
Of all of the characters that have gotten memory transplants, Kisaragi was not one of them, as it turns out. It happened to what? Juro, Fuyasaka,
Damn it.
of course, Shu,
Would find the one
who I don't really think was supposed to be getting memory transplants specifically by Miyuki, but just more of like, hey, here's all these memories so that you know, so that you can have scenes like this ultimately. Oh, interrupt the D-Force's production. Not that that really ended up mattering too much. One of the things we didn't see in the storyline, kind of going back to the gameplay sections again,
I really
is
keep
that
an eye on
one of the robots that we eventually see are just mobile factories that are pumping out a whole bunch of them. Although I think that might have been because of the whole gamification style deal. Originally, they were created in the future by the automated factories, same things that built the Sentinels and everything. They were taken over, started to create a bunch of the D-Forces, etc., and so on. But then I guess because they were gamified, instead of having the finite number of resources creating stuff, then they were just able to nano machines a bunch of other stuff around here.
How could you?
I still don't want to admit that nanomachines are the answer to everything, but they are.
You're going to sacrifice a living human.
After all, the whole memory transplants only work because of the interlocutor.
your heart and mind going
Whatever it's
into your own
called.
body.
You know how that
What's
is.
wrong with that?
So that's kind of what was
Oh,
happening
she's dead.
there.
The girl you're talking to.
The video game. It's all a video game, right? And it's a video game because it's a video game. Because it's based on... Because in the story itself, it's based on a video game.
The girl you knew
It
will
is-
never come back.
Ridiculous.
Even if you steal her body.
I guess that is one way to have the whole gameplay sections exist and everything.
Please,
By
without
doing
you,
it like
I-
that.
You know I love you.
Yes. We've kind of thrown out morals when I was pressing the
I
inflict
can't
pain
support this.
button here before. It's the tilde key. The most pain inflicting of all of the would be the most pain inflicting. I don't know. I always find it kind of annoying to hit the backspace button.
Well,
I can tell you your biggest failure right now.
Because of the position it is on the keyboard, not because I have a hard time erasing things that I've written. In fact, one could say that I have a little bit too easy of a time undoing things that I've done before, as evidenced by this very episode. Though to be fair, I do think at this point we were doing stuff like, oh hey, look at the can of soda or beer or something on the table right next to the tiny little post-it note. And oh yeah, they got like this entire half circle for the rack, but it only intersects in the spine of the robot. What's up with that? And then it was just song references. So very many song references.
Why him?
Why him? He's like the biggest genius in apparently the entire game. Okino just stole all the designs for the Sentinels from the universal control. This guy has hacked the system despite being only a torso. He created DD426. He transferred himself into the robot body twice between Kisaragi and Tamao. He seems to have more control over... Well, then again, who knows? Maybe Universal Control just has absolutely atrocious protection on everything. They didn't put a password on their Wi-Fi. I guess actually back in the Kisaragi storyline, we did see that it seemed like the robots were all under DNA authentication. You know, when they were creating clones of themselves to put into the colonies in the first place, which sort of seems like a bad idea, but we can't just chalk that up to, hey, they had a very small amount of time to get this entire thing working, so they did the whole video game thing even well before that. And I believe Okino's excuse for that was, it's fine.
I'm erasing him now.
I don't see how this could go wrong. We needed to have code for something that could only be covered via video game.
Watch carefully. Never know what might happen.
Yeah, what are you gonna shoot a beam of light out into the robot? How does? Look, he's a super hacker. Let's just say that. But there is the last part of that storyline. During this point, Kisaragi got taken over by Jiro, etc., and so on.
Just trying to mess with our heads.
Eventually got dumped into a dumpster, split himself off into so many different characters to go on and live inside of their nanomachines as Jiro's best friend and constant companion. The funny thing is that Shu is seeing all of this, and yet there's no way that he would have context for anything that's happening right now.
Transmission had been remapped to the delete button. Guess he was too worked up to notice.
Transmission? You did just
Never
what,
thought
the
I'd find
nearest
something
robot?
planned out for me. And by one of my
And
past
also the
selves,
delete
no less.
button. I guess there really was an inflict pain
So,
button
how
there,
are
as
you
it
doing?
turns out.
What happened?
You're about to start a career as a pop idol.
How's the view from the other side of that shell? A shame it might end up getting you deleted. And by the
But
man
that's a
you
story
loved.
for another time.
Oh, very classical tragedy.
Oh, whatever. Get out there and go start upgrading some nanomachines here.
But I need this body more than you do.
All right. Speaking of which, I do believe this is the next point in time that we're going to be seeing a little bit more of her. Not that, again,
Must have fallen asleep.
it's like, yeah,
watching the video.
she does, in fact,
Looks like Karabe
I do wonder if they really just did the whole entire idol thing just as like a big Macross reference or something. Oh, wait a second, that is Macross, right?
The dream
Let me go just
now
try and remember that
feels like it
is...
started off the end of the last one.
That's where the aliens who like didn't know about singing. I don't know. Oh God, yes. Now look, yes. Looking, of course, at my Google history. Of course,
Man, I'm not
I
even
think
smiling
yes,
anymore.
because we were just looking at stuff in the background. Though one of my last searches was Eiffel 65's Blue.
Yeah, I saw it. But what are you
That's
talking about?
that's a level we
What
were
you
at.
saw
A
wasn't
lot of searches for Muv-Love, apparently.
Everything you saw was real.
All right. Anyway, Macross. Yeah, Super Dimension Fortress Macross.
Okay, hold on. I borrowed that video from Karabe-kun.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Then that's definitely the one I was thinking of.
What's Karabe-kun's
And we are talking giant robots. No surprise that we'd have some references here and there, right?
He's the same as you. Watching the past unfold.
Just through very different means. With the cat.
He doesn't
Cat.
know that it's why he keeps coming over.
What would you even call them? It's like a cat. They're not really holograms,
When we were just hanging
even
out
though
playing
they can
games
have the
like
I don't know.
That's how it appears to you, yes.
Anyway, Inaba knew about Shiba the entire time.
Seeing that guy in my dreams.
However that works.
He resembles you greatly. His name is Tetsuya Ida.
Really? I wonder why he resembles you so greatly.
Crazy vision stuff.
It's just these so many things. We know too much already. We know too much at this point in time.
What he intends to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't remember. Okay, so I guess that was the idea. And yes, he was stopped. He was shot and then shot again. Don't even worry about it. We've already dealt with that. Well, we didn't. Shinonome and then Sekigahara dealt with it.
This isn't gonna be some big evil scheme, right?
It's not.
No, she's in orbit.
The plan is meant
Yes, that I keep forgetting that the entire colony plan does in fact have a.
all be moved to another planet.
That's a way to put it,
Plan revolves around
I suppose. Not quite the way that I would put it. I would start out, of course, with you're in 5 identical cities. I said the most notable thing about the entirety of the game so far, and I still think that that's almost the first thing that I would lead off with, just so that you can get that out of the way immediately.
The dreams we're seeing are actual events from the past.
And then we start out day 2, because every character has the routine they go through. It's just a part of the game. And even if you have like a day 2, then, well, it still kind of starts out in mostly the same way.
If I just tell the truth, they'll throw me in a loony bin.
All right.
So here
Yes. Hit the outer walls, etc. Never gonna stop using that phrase. You can't make me.
No, not here. Well, she is
And then back to the daily life of Shu Amiguchi,
She's a cruel mistress.
which is, I think this is the point in time where we just kind of see a lot of the same thing we saw in Megumi's storyline.
Well,
You remember Megumi, where she called Shu up to the roof, shoot him with nanomachines, and then he summoned Sentinel and everything like that. Yeah, I told you this. You go to, and the thing is, you can't get away with not going through every single one of the storylines. You do in fact need to go through 100% every one of the storylines so as to actually finish the game. It's not like my completionist tendencies are is somehow leading to me, doing some repetitive content here. It's just kind of how the game's made.
seems like something's up with him. Maybe he's figured
Such
something
is the
out.
way of the 13 Sentinels. But anyway, not gonna be going after him. Gonna be instead, man, and Yuki's storyline is gonna be very similar too. I do remember that at the very least.
Maybe I need some.
It's weird that I remember. I do got like the major plot down, just not each one of the individual characters.
Maybe I should just go public. Lay everything out in the open.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Even if you tried to, there is a certain universal control that might be kind of standing in your way about that. Send that tape. I don't even know if it's a literal real tape.
What's got you so spaced
I don't know
out?
if they it's certainly the fact that Shiba was holding one of them would say that it's probably I don't know.
Yeah, you could say that.
It's been a pretty wild time in this
Skip school for a few days.
5 identical cities.
Yeah,
You know how that is.
stranded in another time.
There we go. This is the exact okay. This is the exact point in the timeline that it is now. There's no way that I'm gonna actually try and create like a timeline for this game. It's just.
Yeah.
Certainly, I tried to come up with
So, what's going on with you?
an explanation as to
You know that
like I'm refining my explanation of what everything that's going on in 13 Sentinels is episode by episode. Certainly by the end here, I should have a very well-rehearsed, coherent, if not entirely cohesive explanation of what's happening.
From Class 1C.
Just don't ask me to do it in order.
Said she'd find me up here.
This shit again?
That will never happen.
Sheesh. Sometimes you're real annoying to be friends with. I'll
Those
just
guys
get out of your
friends?
way then.
Well, anyway, get out that gun.
Again?
Oh, just stuff from middle school. Girls used to confess their love to me in front of him all the time.
Yep. This exact. Yep, it is. I do remember this exact dialogue again.
I'm sorry. Really, I've got feelings for someone else.
That's not what I came here to tell you.
Came here to tell you,
sorry.
gun.
So, what do you need?
No need to apologize. This might hurt a little anyway.
And that entire thing where I remember that was one of the few failure states in the game, being able to, trying to shoot Amiguchi at the same time that Nenji was there.
What's going on?
Oh, don't worry about it. Universal Control has it covered. People will just be like, oh, it's a gas leak or something.
What is this? Where am I? Wait a minute. Is this the robot I saw in my dream?
The flying robots. They were, I don't know. Once again, the entire thing is just the turrets are so damn good. Although I suppose they do have sort of their own version of the turrets, the flying ones, interceptors, to go around the map, kind of shooting at stuff. You know how that is.
Point looks to be Yaimachi.
Close to Sakura High School. There's no mistaking it.
Yeah, I think there was an implication at some point in time that Ida was supposed to be covering.
And
Yeah.
the US military.
Ida was supposed to be covering up
Scrambles.
the
Showa-era weapons won't
the whole Sentinel incidents that had come about, like with
on it or what their
with
intent
Juro accidentally summoning his one way earlier on, and obviously this one right here. But it really is clearly just Universal Control that is doing it the entire time.
is.
Going into outer space.
I believe that's the last aerial lightweight craft designed by Okino.
Don't worry, I think there's a couple
I
more.
thought I'd never
Right.
even entered production. Who is that?
You'd be well acquainted with him. Let's just say that right now. Yes, as always, for whatever reason, space is filled with a bunch of green gas. Don't ask me as to why that's the case.
Space? No way.
Such is the way they decide to represent space in this game.
Altitude reading says 2,078 meters.
You've bypassed the upper shield. You are now outside the enclosure.
Yeah, but
Wall now?
it's yeah, but we can't just see.
What does all this mean?
I think you know. I think it's pretty clear what that means.
None of them could fly.
That is Sentinel number 20.
Yeah, if only we got like a good look at the ground below right now, that would
The Sentinel was never meant to be transmitted.
kind of clear up some stuff, because I am curious as to what this entire thing looks like from the from like an aerial perspective.
Another district.
I thought domes, but I guess it's open air type of stuff.
We need to hide the Sentinel. I can't do anything for you here. You have to go back to your sector.
Go back how? This thing's
Teleport
not
there.
Whoa! We're going down!
This is some high quality animation. Anyway, you know how helicopters can go into space, right?
What the?
It's very easy. That's where you get all the coke from, of course.
John, I knew it. It's like I keep saying, we gotta be soulmates.
Yeah. The pairing once again. It is still very much in play as of right now.
You're seriously still talking this crap even now? Is that thing yours?
You know, a shot with a gun, then it went into outer space, and now it's gone.
Gone.
I'm just glad I didn't crash somewhere with people.
What
Gotta tell me what happened.
what an amazing trip. And anyway, there's the end of that scene now that we've seen before.
Possible.
Sort of a strange
Shu, Amiguchi.
thing that was brought up way earlier, but that was also brought up at a point in time that we didn't really have as much of a grasp as to what was going on with a lot of stuff. I believe at that point in time when we saw Megumi doing stuff, it was just like, yeah, here's she's shooting people with the magic gun and amnesia and stuff. I don't know what's happening.
I really, really hate being talked down to. Especially from guys like you.
Easy, Amiguchi.
Is it just me or does Ida look kind of short in the scene? I don't know.
This guy?
I think it's just the
She
perspective,
is a
but still.
member of our organization.
Some of the animations, like the walking animation, the way characters can't really walk up and down, has been pointed out in the comments section previously.
To Sakura High School.
It is very obvious when you see it.
Tell me he's kidding.
Amiguchi,
I suggest you cooperate, Shu Amiguchi. For Takamiya's sake, if nothing
Still a
else.
wonder if Yuki's father, or was it, even exists, because like we saw with Tamao, it's just like not there. We're told that Tamao Karabe definitely owns this house, but I just, Shu has a dad, but they're never here.
Those government spooks are
It
keeping
might just
an
be
eye on me.
a straight up a
At this rate,
limitation of budget or something like that. But I remember thinking a lot that there was going to be like some sort of reveal or something with that. But then again, we do know there's so many other reveals that are happening all the time that I suppose it doesn't really matter, does it? Who can say?
not here today.
Yes, she is. Just do it right now.
Not
Oh,
here.
come on. I know where this scene is going. Just do it already. The old run around in a circle until I'm able to figure out what to do. And... no? Oh, come on now.
Miyuki Inaba was right about there was about so here and beyond with my back in my dream. Well, it's not just fire. In my dream, her soul. That's gotta be the. What would it even be like? Not having the way Miyuki Inaba.
Yes,
tells
yes.
Those dreams weren't from the future like
Just
I
gotta
thought
go.
they were.
Just gotta. It's the old point and click adventure game thing where you just need to rub everything against everything else until something
I'm the one who
works, and there we
approached
go.
her, and she has to keep an eye on me? Well, hey, maybe this isn't so bad after all.
Okay, does that was what I needed to do?
Shuko,
Okay, fine, whatever.
help me.
Please help me, Shu. You're my only hope.
Hey,
He knows I'm here now.
He? Who could you possibly be referring to? It's Ida, of course, but could also be Universal Control. Although I don't know if you would consider the
wait.
computer that acts as the god of this colony to be a he.
Here.
Besides, Universal Control is more of a background element, doesn't take a very active role in the story, and is also there just for more shocking reveals. Like a lot of stuff in 13 Sentinels. But still, would a signal coming from outside of the colony be allowed to reach people inside of the colony? As of right now, I believe Inaba is in the management satellite that's orbiting the planet that Morimura talked about, or maybe she's just in a Sentinel, kind of floating around in space. She's not in the colony, is the point, and maybe that's something they accounted for when creating this. The idea that, hey, we're sending out thousands of these colonies, more than one of them is probably going to survive, and then develop at a different time, try and go contact some of the other colonies, and they wanted to make sure that if they tried to, they would be successful. Then again, we are talking about the same people who came up with the whole 5 identical cities scenario, and also we do know that every single electronic that exists inside this entire game is apparently an open book that you can just hack into at any point in time, whether it's Universal Control or Ida's laboratory or whatever. So I guess the thing I was saying is stupid. Never mind. You know what? They just let anything through whenever. Whatever.
Why does all of this exist?
Why indeed cover up the truth? Yeah. Oh yeah, I totally forgot that they did in fact talk about Universal Control in this conversation. Yes, why did it do that? For what possible reason? Well, I mean, we know the reason. It's because they wanted it to be multiple different timelines, but they couldn't decide on one. Even the game itself has a hard time justifying this entire setting. And it's still not working. You're not selling me on the 5 identical cities premise here. Well, anyway, no, I didn't think that she was Ida. I know she's Kisaragi. I thought that I was gonna get some unique extra information if I did talk to her about some of these characters, but yeah. It's like, look, it's been obvious at this point in time, the pairings and all that. Hell, that's how we figured out that the cat was Juro. Well before, like, what, a good dozen episodes before we actually found out about that.
You don't mean
Yeah.
You finally realized.
Yes.
This is how I got past Universal.
Okay, so I guess they do in fact have some restrictions. Look, Universal Control is a mystery. We're never going to figure out exactly how it works. We just got to accept that, look, it's here. It's the thing that sort of almost makes this work in kind of a dumb way, but, well, here we are.
Just data on a computer. But that's exactly how
All right. And that's and then she does indeed help us, like I said, in the actual the actual gameplay itself. Also giving a unique musical track in the background too. So
If we don't stop him, he'll erase me.
what should I do?
you gotta go.
Besides the outer
So
walls,
we're going back to hit the outer walls
I
again.
need your Sentinel
Yeah, Sentinels, of course, are. If you don't have access to the gate, and I guess Shu probably wouldn't. It seemed like most of the people that were accessing the gate had a lot more knowledge than Shu about this.
What happens if
Whether it was Shinonome, like accessing some sort of big like hologram control panel or something, or the mirror robot, of course, doing the exact same thing. And if you can't do that, you got to use the Sentinels. And I guess it's at this point in time they don't really have the ability to just summon them whenever. So time to walk into the wall awkwardly. And
Any sudden moves and I shoot.
getting a lot of use out of the pointing a gun at people Shinonome sprite, eh?
How did you get in?
I broke the lock.
With that gun?
There was an agent.
Yes, I shot it with the gun and it unlocked. But of course, these guns are the Star Trek phaser kind, so you know.
Yes.
So, what do you want with me?
I need
What
your
indeed?
Sentinel.
Hey, well, what a coincidence.
Call it here.
That's a thing I can do? I have no idea how.
Don't worry, you'll get used to it for the actual gameplay
I'm
sections.
sorry, but I've got something I need to do.
You want me to shoot you?
I have to go stop Ida.
Yes.
Huh?
Okay, so this is the point in time where Ida, Shinonome had kind of broken up with Ida's organization and is now... I mean, that's what happens with seemingly everybody that he had working for him. They realize kind of what a bad idea everything he's trying to do is.
How does it fly in the air?
It has giant helicopter rotors.
Understand. Is
And
how
powerful
you
enough,
build it without an
powerful enough to send it into space.
Piloting a Sentinel damages you, like what happened to me. So most
Yeah,
people
but at
can't
this point in
operate
time, it's
What?
oh, it's an entire thing about the DD426 virus not actually operating the Sentinel. It is supposed to be a very taxing thing on the old brain box, but not in a way that more of like a fatigue thing. And in the actual gameplay sections, it just means that they're out for a battle after you use them once. But here, it's like the only real damage that happens is if you stay in it an excessive amount of time, seemingly like what happened to Juro, or are infected with that virus, which is a completely different thing.
Was supposed to take me with him, but he took Takamiya-san instead.
Yuki-chan?
Oh no! How relevant to my very character right now!
Biometric ID from one of us. It's the only way he can access the terminal.
You'd think he'd still have the biometric ID from Ida, but I guess, I don't know. For all we know, Ida was working on like the botanics part of this entire process. I don't remember if we ever got an explanation as to what he contributed to the whole the whole ARC project and what he would have access to ultimately. Not that it really matters, because everybody has access to everything yet again. Anybody can do anything.
Wait.
Are you okay?
Back to the old shiny fancy chrome
What
area.
is this place?
The outer walls of the spaceship, I guess.
It's, I keep saying that it's a dome, but it's like, no, there's, you already went into space, it's just giant walls.
Whoa, okay, so you never found out that part.
Oh boy, we still have Shinanome's second part to go.
This doesn't make sense. How could there be a facility like this in a tunnel?
I don't know how, but there is.
But then again, I don't remember exactly what events that ends up covering. Maybe it's after this point. There it is.
It's really here.
Kind of actually hard to see compared to the rest of the chrome scaffolding and everything around here.
So now what?
Sort of blends in well.
Activate it.
Yeah, but how?
How did you do it before?
I don't know.
Got
Just
shot with a
come
magic gun. The classic way to activate robots, of course.
What about your activation switch? You should have one somewhere on your body,
A switch?
where nanomachines were shot into you.
Yes,
where
yes.
code was injected
I
into your
guess that does indeed give them the ability to actually pilot the Sentinels, as well as updating the nanomachines in the first place.
Shot. I think she got me.
I suppose that for a lot of the other characters, they kind of already had
See if that
the
stuff
nanomachines
picks up.
injected into them back in the 40s.
nothing.
They were setting up the whole thing in the first place, or in the future, where they obviously originally created the
So I
Sentinels.
just swipe it.
So everybody else had to have, one, the update to even be able to use the damn thing in the first place, and then, of course, the updating for the gamification thing. And there he goes! Alright, hop on in. We're going to not the future, but a place a mile over.
Okay, I see you. So yeah, I'm in. But for something so big, well, this cockpit looks like a single-seater.
If it shares
Yes,
design
it
elements
is
from number 14,
everything. Yeah, but
there
the
should be a maintenance hatch
maintenance hatch.
somewhere. From there, I could set the shift destination.
Okay, let me look.
I think we saw that back in Mura's storyline too.
I found it. I think.
Where is it?
In the back. How's it looking down there?
I've set the shift destination.
Hey, rare
Now you
portraits.
just need to confirm it.
Okay.
I remember that, like in Nenji's storyline, he was still inside of the Sentinel when doing the whole when doing the whole brain station thing. Didn't get like a unique one for just chatting with people. But here Shinonome gets one.
What
Everything's so yellow.
That's Sakura High. It looks a lot like where we live.
Yes, yes. 5 identical cities. We already talked about. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. It's just every single time. Every single time.
We were in Sector 4.
This ridiculously stupid sci-fi element that exists only to try and to do this whole shocking twist in the first place. And of course, the entirety of the second half of Shu's storyline doesn't get anything nearly as important.
Looks like we'll fit right through. I guess we're going down.
I mean, even Inaba is kind of limited in what she can actually do for the main characters.
Yuki!
And there he is.
Any closer and I shoot her.
So, found a way through on Shu Amiguchi's Sentinel?
Sure did.
This is because I chose Takamiya-kun over you.
Kind of
Those
the
emotional impulses of
the
yours
only way that we could get this entire thing to work, I
try
guess.
my patience.
That's not why, Mr. Ida.
Yes, yes, yes. We're gonna lose Sector 0. However that even works. It's like what
I know about you.
they didn't really give like a very good explanation as to why, except to give a time limit. You know, except to be like, well, we can't just try it again. So instead, we gotta. There's got to be some sort of arbitrary reason why. Oh, we can't do the whole Sector 0 thing
Since I
again.
dropped you off as a newborn.
Gasp.
Drop me off. I placed you into the Amiguchi family as a child.
Gasp a second time.
Then you're saying
Yes, it
you
was
are
me. I did it.
genetically identical to me. You are
Also,
Tetsuya Ida.
Yeah. Also, that was a literal gasp from Shu there.
Yuki-chan's got nothing to do with this. Let her go.
What?
I'm afraid she's a vital part of
Shu, am I paying more attention to the story
metrics to access
than you are right now?
You should know
Anyway.
this is partly your fault. Up until now, I had simply been borrowing your ID. But then you had to go and access your Sentinel.
Why
which
would
means
that make a
authorization
difference?
Has been restored to you.
I mean, if genetically identical, and we did see that it was a genetic lock in
You have feelings for Yuki.
Kisaragi's storyline, at least for accessing the individual terraforming robots, I suppose.
Under any other circumstances, it'd be fascinating. Genetically identical, but our experience.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for outlining one of the themes of the game.
Nothing you can do to change.
We didn't get it up until this point, Ida. Oh, I was very confused that was something they were trying to do in the storyline.
So here you are at last.
Give me a good explanation for why you did the 5 cities thing now.
I recognized it instantly. I'm still your biggest fan, believe it or not.
Ida-kun, please. Think this over.
I have to start things over for the two of us.
This is a mistake.
Yeah. And then eventually it turned to a robot and gets shot. So who's mistaken now?
This will be gone soon enough anyway. Or do you have some other option to share?
Even if I did, you wouldn't listen to me. Not the way you are now.
Ida is closest thing that we got to a villain aside from the force of nature that is the terraforming robots here.
Please. I love Tomi Kisaragi. There's no need for anything as drastic as that. But I do need to.
By the way, why are there a bunch of robots here? Was that explained back in, what,
Can cut off
Natsuno's storyline?
but I'm not
God, I'm trying to even remember at this point in time.
I don't need to cut off communication.
Because I'm betting there's a reason why there's one of those random robots here, but I just cannot remember why.
AI now. She's in a Sentinel? And I happen to
I mean, yeah, you can obviously tell that Ida is a villain because he does that that thing where his glasses turn entirely opaque.
That's impossible. Wait, Ida-kun. I'm in orbit right now. I'm watching this all from the command ship's computer.
Okay, command ship.
I can see
All right, it's not like an orbiting satellite, but
that whole area.
well,
The reset
Why would...
everything.
Yeah, why though?
Broken down and rebuilt, but
We won't have a Sector Zero. No. Just say it. Just say it really quick. Just interrupt him and say it.
understand.
Attention.
Yeah, of course.
Protocol.
No, we're gonna figure that one out later.
Sentinel number 16.
Don't.
Bastard.
We just get the hint that a reveal is going to be coming later if I didn't already play everything in such a weird order.
I think our work here is done. We're returning to Sector 4.
Activate the hydraulic
You're
press.
coming with us, Shu Amiguchi. As will you, Shinonome-kun. Come on. You know you need me.
Oh, come on. Yeah, exactly, Shu.
That's my girl. We're leaving. Collect the equipment. I know what you've really been trying to do. Back then, all those nights in the lab,
Yes, we saw the big scene there.
you wanted to remake Kisaragi the way you wanted her to be. Ida, you think we're the same person? You're nothing like me. I'd never use a girl as some tool. Little shit.
You guys are useless. Thank you, Shinonome. I told you they were going to get a lot of use out of the Shinonome holding a gun sprite.
Right.
What? Wait, what am I supposed to... Oh.
You heard Yuki-chan?
Amiguchi.
You think that would have just been a regular cutscene or something, because...
You can be such an
Yeah, when I'm just kind of like... When there's a gun being held, trying to expect him to do something is silly.
Amiguchi!
Hey, we even got another use out of that sprite, too.
Takamiya-kun, I suggest you come quietly, or Amiguchi will suffer the consequences.
You son of a bitch.
Yuki-chan, don't risk it. If we could hurry this up. On it, sir.
Yes. Get to it already. It's been nearly an hour-long episode. And there they go.
They vanished.
Now,
Yuki.
now there's the question of, now what? Because Shu has not really had... I told you, everything is so easy to access by every one of the characters, seemingly.
So that's all set. Then let's
No
do
protection on anything at all.
this.
But hey, I guess we get a little bit more, of an insight as to what the Men in Black
Hey, you wanna
guys
introduce yourself?
are
Be my guest.
doing.
Keep it cool. He's doing fine.
I mean, it's rare that we have characters that are not one of the main 13 Sentinel dudes. And then it took me way too long to even figure out, like, okay, what am I supposed to do?
It's capable of
Do
transporting
here.
us across time, correct?
Hell if I know, man. My senpai
Shu,
was the one who set
how
up
do
time
you
travel.
not
Sure, I can fly
know
with him.
this? You're the one that had the reveal. It's shocking that we're trusting him to activate this entire thing when he doesn't even understand the whole time travel
Let's do it
deal.
together for now.
So you guys really have no idea how to work all this stuff?
Our intel suggested it's just not possible for us.
Probably not. You gotta be one of the special boys or girls. Yep.
But we'll
There you
certainly
go.
make an effort.
Look, we're just here to stand around and look cool, all right?
How much does your organization know? Do they have any real info on how this
The
place
answer
works?
is, of course, not much at all.
Well, it's a UFO made by scientists of the future.
Yep.
Since before our time. It's been buried here, deep underground.
Okay,
Close
so you're
enough.
basically clueless.
Oh, yeah, shut up, Shu. Like you know anything more.
Come on, out of the way.
All right, time to quote-unquote operate it again.
This is nothing like my microcomputer at home. Damn it. This doesn't look good. I can't help Miyuki and Aba. I can't even go after Yuki-chan. What am I supposed to do here? Where'd the console go? Did it work? No.
And the entirety of Shu's storyline ends with Natsuno appearing. This is the grand finale for Shu's storyline.
Amiguchi-kun?
It's
The data unit.
Men in Black.
Yep. That's the end. Hope you enjoyed Shu's storyline. I told you.